My name is Gianni Russo, a.k.a. Carlo, the infamous son-in-law from The Godfather. I'm now known as the Hollywood Godfather, and this is my story.
Before all of the wins in my portfolio, I was a little boy diagnosed with polio. Experimenting with cures, I tried every one. Felt everything in my right, but my left was numb. Walking with a limp, like will I ever run? Once again, or is this it? Am I forever done? Living in the hospital was never fun. Some people were cool, but not everyone.
Welcome, everybody. It's time for the Hollywood Godfather podcast. And this program, we're into 2 weeks already into January. I can't believe it.
That's right.
We have to give everybody an update. It's been an exciting 2025 already. I can't believe what's gone on
Oh,
in
God.
2 weeks.
Right. Been so many.
Let's just touch on Jimmy Carter.
That's right.
Yes, the first president to ever be 100 years old. And he had that wonderful event, and then he died.
Right. I was reading up a little on him because I know we were going to talk about him, but he was the 39th president and in 1977 to 1981. And I was trying to count backwards and see, I was 11 years old, but I remember him. I do remember him. The one thing I remember as a little kid is Jimmy Carter and peanuts. That always.
Well, yeah, he was a peanut farmer. That's why.
Right. So it's just the funny things that you remember. And when you're a kid, the only thing you remember too much about the president is when he came on TV when I was a kid, he screwed up all the TV. We had those 3 channels and he came on and ruined your whole evening. But so it's funny. It made me think of that now with the inauguration coming up, that when a president spoke when we were kids, that's all you had. It demanded your full attention. But nowadays, no one has to listen to anything. But yeah, he was a pretty incredible guy. I didn't realize he was a lieutenant in the Navy, which, I have a soft spot for veterans because that's who I deal with on a daily basis. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that he had served. But that's pretty amazing.
I think that's what got him into office.
Oh,
basically.
really?
Well, in the competition, I don't know who was running against him, but I don't think any of them were vets. Because when you think about his background, he really wasn't presidential material. He was a peanut farmer.
Yeah, it's incredible. He went on to do so many great things.
Oh, afterwards, yeah. Building homes, and he was really an advocate to just make America great again. Like
exactly.
Donald Trump is trying to do.
And he was always promoting human rights, and that's why he won that Nobel Peace Prize. And I just thought, what pretty incredible guy. Not only did he, serve the country then, but then he served people all of his life. So pretty amazing person that he turned out to be. And I do a lot of volunteering for Habitat for Humanity, which is something he was a big key figure of. So, I look back and you look at things, the older you get, when you're young, you don't care about that stuff. But nowadays you look at things and how they've come about and the people who promote them. And he just was such a good person and always looking out for others. So I'm glad they're making such a big thing of his funeral and stuff. So in fact,
the respect he's getting is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And his funeral, even where he's being laid out, everything's really great. And I'm happy that Trump and Biden went together to respect him even in the last days. I have a different reason for him. Mine goes back to 1980. I was building the Renaissance Hotel, and nobody knew where I even came from, how I got all this property. I had 23 acres right behind the MGM Grand Hotel and the Bally's Hotel. And I'm building a hotel. It was like an $83 million hotel. And there was one newscaster called Ned Day. And he also wrote for the Review Journal. And he was always on my case. I think we were the same age. He was a little younger than me, but he was a loser. And I had at that time, Paul Anka had this nightclub called Jubilation, and it was the place to be. I used to keep two tables there every night, no matter if I showed up or not. And
Did
because I didn't care about money, I was making so much money at the time.
right. Did you
And then
know
I,
him personally?
what's that?
Did you know him personally? Did you
Paul
ever
Anka?
no, Ned Day. Or was he
I
just
got to know him because he actually used to come to my club. That's the kind of nerve this guy had. And I'd say, you're gonna find yourself dead one day talking
right?
about people because he picked on everybody, the Spilatros, anybody. And I'm not a gangster. I was just a young guy doing what I did, and
Yeah.
nobody could figure out why. So I just wanted him to be friends with me because the newspaper people, could really destroy you, and he was trying to.
Oh boy, he sure was. He always was writing something. I mean, I know you showed us different articles before, and
Right.
I recognized his face the minute I saw this one.
Well, the funniest thing is, though, uh, when I was ready to break ground, Ernst and Young was my accounting firm, and they warned me. They sent me a letter saying, "We think you should wait a while for going forward because the interest rates on construction loans was already 19, 20%. They said you would have to have 91% occupancy just to pay off your debt." And then that day came up. I don't know how he got a hold of a wiretap of the Kansas City mob, the Savella family, who I borrowed 30 million from on a napkin. So
Well,
unbeknownst to me, well, why don't you read the article that was in the newspaper that he wrote? I couldn't believe he wrote this.
right, and it says right here, this is written from the FBI transcripts, which is something else. I just thought, you got to be kidding me. They called them the Joe Augusto tapes, and they were produced and directed by the FBI. It said, but it said,
Let's tell the audience. Joe Augusto was fronting the Tropicana Hotel at that time with a Carl DeLuna. So they were looking at them. That's when the mob was still very heavy into Vegas. But I had nothing to do with them. I knew them all. And I
oh,
knew the
so
Savellas because the Savellas at that time in Kansas City were controlling the Teamsters pension fund. So if you wanted to get a loan, because Jimmy Hoffa was in jail, if you wanted to get a loan, you had to go see them. And if they wanted to okay it, they did. So that's why I was flying in. And
so
I didn't know their phones were tapped and everything was.
right.
So
So they were looking at them, and they just caught you in the outskirts. They weren't looking at you. They were looking at this group.
exactly.
You're in the
So
wrong.
read part of it, which is very funny.
Right. All right. So it did say the participants are the Kansas City Godfather, Uncle Nick Savella, Joe Augusto, Carl Savella, and Carl DeLuna. And it says in the conversation, Savella remarks about a little article on Russo, and Carl Savella responds, he called the other day and he's coming in Tuesday with a friend. Do you remember who that friend was?
I can't mention his name, mob boss.
Okay. I wondered if
That's
said
whenever we say that, that's what that means.
that's a friend,
Yeah.
a no-named friend. All right. And he said, Augusto reports to the Savellas. Yeah, I know this. Johnny Russo, he doesn't have a good reputation in Vegas. I want you to know about it. Augusto goes on to discourage Savellas from investing in Russo's hotel project, noting that the resort would be located off of the strip and it wouldn't have enough rooms to make any serious money, Savella says. The thing is, this guy doesn't clearly didn't know you very well, because anything you touched went to gold, and sounded to me like there was no room for somebody to have an extra seat from the stories I've heard.
Yeah.
So did was why was Savella, which Savella was it? Didn't say.
Nick Savella,
So
Corky, the
he was
boss.
one. Why was he discouraging it? He was just not in the mood.
No, the Luna was trying to discourage it.
Oh,
No, that's who, and Joe Augusto.
Okay,
Because I would be in direct competition with them. They had the Tropicana Hotel. I was right down the block.
that's why. Oh, I got you. Well, so then he goes on to say, all right, I'll see what this Russo, when he comes, we'll see what he's got. And then if he's got anything that sounds good, like it's got any, and then he says, Augusto says, but if Russo doesn't have any money, Savella said, yeah. DeLuna says, he doesn't have any money. Augusto says, huh? DeLuna says, he doesn't got any money.
Well, it's all
Augusto,
because gotten do's and does. That's how they talk.
yeah.
It's so
Augusto,
funny to read a transcript on mob people sometimes.
right. That's so funny. So then Augusto says, he has little money, you said. DeLuna, no, he's good for, no, he's good for investors. That must have been your friend. It says Augusto again discouraged the idea, telling the Kansas City boys that only a fool would give $30 million to build it. Fade out on Las Vegas matinee idol, gazing forlornly at his empty lot. Let's see. It
Well,
said
the rest don't mean anything. But that was the corner of Harmon and Colville Lane. And I
they
broke ground. I surprised everybody. I had a big
big
party,
party. Yeah.
circus tents when I broke ground and everything else.
I,
Everybody came. Steve Wynn, Siegfried, anybody that was a star, Wayne Newton, they all showed up.
yeah. Well, we've seen the pictures to that,
Yeah. See,
of
but the
that.
good news is I didn't realize that the FBI was waiting for me to take my first drawdown.
Oh.
And if I would have touched that money, I'd be doing 20 years in Leavenworth because of fraudulent pension money they were lending me by the mob.
Oh my gosh. So how did Jimmy Carter circle into that?
So what happened to me was I get the letter from Ernst and Young suggesting I shouldn't go forward. So I used that to postpone it. So I went to the construction board and all the planning and zoning because I was approved to go, and I postponed it till the rates went down. And then there was a suspicious fire on my job site, which destroyed all the records, and I left the country.
And now that lot still sits empty, right?
Well, it does now, but it's owned by a group of people in Liechtenstein, which the feds don't have jurisdiction to go investigate. But that's why I love Jimmy Carter, because if
That's
I
right.
went forward, I'd be a felon and probably getting out now.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing how things kind of circle around, isn't
My
it?
life has been such a dream for those kind of things. When all the I call them interruptions. With all the interruptions I've had in my life,
It's amazing. And still unscathed, which is, you took your licks as a child, so you got to get the hard stuff out of the way. Well,
yeah,
so
and I did it. I like brought up my childhood with polio, all that stuff. I'm blessed. I'm really, but here I am now, sitting here in my 80s and still going forward. Never been in jail yet, thank God,
knock
or
on
have
wood.
handcuffs on. But everybody thinks I'm a criminal.
You've never had handcuffs on?
Nope. No, well,
Yeah,
playing
I've had
movies,
handcuffs on.
but on this one, I want to hear why'd you have handcuffs on?
Well, I'll tell you a really funny quick story. I was driving home one day and I look up and I'm talking to my daughter on the phone and I'm like, there's a body in the middle of the road. And she's on the other end of the phone. She's like, do not pull over. I said, I gotta pull over. There's a body laying. And so I pull over and it was a guy that I hadn't seen for 30 years. And he just is laying on the ground and he just lifts his head up and turns his head and he said, Jeannie Raymond. I'm like, what are
Are
you
you
doing?
kidding me?
I'm not kidding. Oh, it's a funny story.
That's a classic story.
Well, my daughter is on the phone yelling, drive away, drive away. And she's in a carload of people trying to go to the county fair, state fair. And so anyway, the guy had gotten in a fight with his brother-in-law. And so he said he tried to beat me up. So I'm just laying here waiting for the police. I guess he was going to be real dramatic and lay on the street. It was just kind of a side road next to the river. And so then he had been doing bath salts or whatever. So he was half insane. So anyway, he said he was talking to me, bent over in my car, and then the brother-in-law would say something, he'd turn around and lose his mind. And then he would turn back around, and at one point he grabbed a gun out of his shorts and starts pointing it at the brother-in-law. And I was like, hey. And I always carry a taser in my purse. So I yanked it out and I buzzed it, which scared the hell out of him. And he said,
"Are you kidding me?"
Oh, no, I was in my car. So he may have been tased before, I'm guessing, because it caught his attention. He was like, don't tase me. So he said, oh, and he hands me the gun. I just take it in through the window and set it on the seat. And he said, oh, it's not real. And I said, you're going to get shot because you're an idiot out here swinging around a fake gun. So anyway, the reason I was in handcuffs, here came, I don't know how many cars full of sheriffs and everybody, and they have to secure the scene. So they handcuff everybody. I've got on like a white suit, pearls, high heels, beige color slacks, and they're like, we're going to have to handcuff you. I'm like, are you insane? I am extremely claustrophobic. And they said, well, we have to handcuff everybody, but we'll hurry. And I said, okay. And they said, well, will you just sit down on the road? And I said, absolutely not. I'm like, I'm not sitting on the road in this outfit. Anyway, so they unhandcuffed me and let me go because I had nothing to do with it. But then they said, I thought they said they had a gun. And I said, oh, the gun's in my car. Let me get it for you. And I said, it's fake. I mean, it was this crazy story. My daughter was furious at me. So, and this guy was going in between normal talking like you and I, and then he would snap and be insane. So he is sitting on the road in handcuffs, and he looks up and sees me, and he's saying, there's probably 15 cops. Look at her. That's Jeannie Raymond. She's my best friend. I said, Barry, I haven't seen you for 30 years. You don't write, you don't call. And so he said, look at her. And he said, my age, isn't she hot? Raise your hand if you think she's hot to all these cops. And I turned around and I said to him,
Well, he's got that right.
get some hands in the air, man. Anyway, it was one of the funniest days ever. And I had a dash cam, which got a bunch of it, but it was hilarious. And I said, all right, see you, Barry. See you in 30 more years. And off I went.
See, yeah, that's what I love about you. I never know what I'm going to learn as our audience finds you so enjoyable. And that's why you're so spontaneous. But whoever thought I would hear this story, or even the audience would hear this from you? It's amazing.
Me in handcuffs. Well, at least now you know I wasn't doing anything nefarious.
Even tasing somebody and taking a gun from somebody, you're insane.
Well, I didn't get to him. I just scared him with it. But yeah.
I think it's time for a commercial on this before we get into the rest of our new year.
That's right. All right.
And listen to the commercials. I got a lot of events coming up, especially for Valentine's Day. You want to be there. Bernie's. It's a great place in Bernardsville. The place is called the Red Horse Cafe, and David Burke is the chef. I'll be there for Valentine's Day. Go to the website, find out about it. We'll be right back. On January 23rd, I'm at Scratch's Bar and Grill and Lounge in New Rochelle. Be there. It's going to be a great night. For reservations, call 914-278-9650, okay? That's on January 23rd. Now on Valentine's Day, I'm going to be at Bernie's in Bernardsville, New Jersey, and it's a great restaurant called the Red Horse, run by my friend David Burke. So you want to go to that. The dinner's going to be great. The show's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of fun. And you got to go out anyway for Valentine's Day. Come over there and see me, all right? For reservations, call at redhorsebydb.com. That's redhorsebydb.com. All right? That's Bernie's, a great hotel. I'll be staying there also. All right? I will see you then. Okay, we're back. Well, let's talk about a great thing I saw the other night. I know you watched it also, the Golden Globes, and a very close friend of mine. We became friends. Her name was Demi Moore, and anybody that watched the Golden Globes, the first Sunday of January, and as something I vote in. Fortunately, I've been a part of that since me doing The Godfather. But to see her win, because you who don't know, I did a film deal with Andrew Bergman. No, Andrew. Wait a minute. Michael LaBelle and Andrew Bergman. Andrew Bergman was the writer director. Michael LaBelle was the producer. I was the producer with him, and we did three films: Chances Are, Striptease, and The Freshman. And Demi Moore starred in Striptease, which I thought just for that movie she would have won. She was so good in it. And then
She's
went on to do G.I. Jane, which was another movie she should have got nominated. Well, she did get nominated for all of them, but didn't win.
well, she even
That's
said the
why
other night,
she won
what a
Sunday
knock.
night, and it was fabulous. Could you expand on that a little bit, my
Oh,
darling?
absolutely. What she said was so amazing, and I watched that again, and she just expressed how grateful she was for this. She felt like she had kind of been washed up in the business. And I'll tell you, I watch her right now on Landman, and she is stunning. She just is one beautiful person. But she had said that someone had called her a popcorn actress. Are you familiar with that term?
No.
I think they kind of just meant like it wasn't a compliment, but she just said to her that meant that she would never be one that would win awards or be a big film star, kind of that, she wasn't going to ever be a big deal. And I thought, boy, were they wrong. But she she said that that had stuck with her and it really, really bothered her and just really made a difference on how she felt about herself. And then she was saying that she had kind of thought her career was over, and then she got this new role that she won the award for the other night. But I just thought of it as people say things to people having no idea
Oh,
that
I know. And
gonna
it's,
stick with them forever, or how that's gonna mess with their head, whether it be something a big deal or not. And I thought, uh, boy, that sure made a difference for her, and how much this last movie and this award had changed for her. And she did say that there was someone that encouraged her and said, you're not done. There's more for you. And I just thought, man, it is so neat to have people that bring out the best in you and encourage you. And it just reminds me, anytime you say something to somebody, sometimes people say things joking around or derogatory, and you think you have no idea what that's going to do along the way.
well,
But
most people are so jealous, especially in our business, that, I mean, we've seen people take their own lives, major stars. They were so depressed, nobody knew about it.
right,
And they thought they didn't need help because they're a
right.
star. But like you say, you get a little statement like that, and it took her 40 years to express it like she did at the Golden Globes. But the first time I saw her, if my memory serves me right, it was in a movie called Mystic Pizza.
Oh yeah.
And I saw her that night in that movie, and I said, this girl's going to be a big star. And then when we got into casting Striptease, her name came up immediately with me. And the major star was her and Burt Reynolds in that movie. I was
Yeah.
in the movie. I'm always in the movies because I like being. If I'm going to be there, my ego wants me in the movie with it rather than my money. But anyway, but we had so much fun. I got to know her and her daughter. That was the only thing I didn't like. She really wanted her daughter to play her daughter in Striptease, which I
Oh,
knew the script, and I'm saying I said to her privately, I said, Demi, you're exposing your daughter to all this foul language, and because in the dressing room, all these strip teasers in the movie, the daughter is sitting there, her real daughter is playing her daughter in the movie, and she's hearing all this language, and I think the daughter's name was Rebel or some crazy name.
Was it Rumor? I can't remember.
Maybe Rumor. No, I think it's
Maybe,
Rebel.
maybe there's a couple. Yeah, just
Yeah,
think a
I think
couple.
it's Rebel. But anyway, and uh, and now all the stuff going on with our husband, with his dementia and all that. I mean,
Correct. Yeah,
it's so sad. But like you said, people don't realize, just a passing remark,
right.
subconsciously, she was insecure. That could trigger it.
Absolutely. People would say if you've ever been in an abusive relationship, I've said before, I'd rather get smacked. That goes away. A bruise is going to heal, but some ugly things people say, you can never get that out of your head. And and look at who she is, and even as much as she has done, it still stuck with her. And she said noted somebody else that had really helped her, and she said something about if you're worried that you're not enough, she said the number one thing you need to do is put down the measuring stick and enjoy who you are, or something like that. And I thought, boy, isn't that for sure. Give yourself, don't be so hard on yourself, and be good to other people. That was the message I got from that. But boy, I sure like seeing her win, especially because of what it did for her, and just that her message got to go out to so many people, to be, believe in yourself and surround yourself with people who believe in you.
Well, that's
I
the
think,
biggest thing. But you know what I like too? Even all the aftermath of just not her speech, they keep playing, the after parties and seeing how
yeah,
excited she was and taking pictures with all her friends with the globe.
well, yeah,
It's I reached out to her, but I didn't get her because obviously my numbers are all obsolete. But I wanted to congratulate her just because of the memories I had with her, because we spent an awful lot of time together because we used the strip joints down in Florida to shoot the movie live, and then
oh,
we used, in fact, we used Augie Bush of Budweiser Bush, his yacht. That's where we shot. I was on that boat. It was supposed to be my boat, and Burt Reynolds' character wanted to use the boat, and it was the date he was having with her. And he
you know
went,
what, I have not seen that whole movie, but I did see the part with you on the boat.
yeah. Well, that's
Isn't
what it
that
was about.
funny?
So I had a better, a good feeling for her, and I wanted to express that to her. Which, if she listens to the show, congratulations, Demi.
Oh yeah, it's so inspiring. Her speech absolutely inspired me. I thought it was so wonderful. The other thing I look up to, the way she, like you said, she's got those kids, and her ex-husband Bruce Willis. It reminded me a little bit about the me and my ex-husband. We all get along so well and get to do things together as a family. Him and his girlfriend, and I get to go and be part and hang out together. And I thought she obviously has a fondness for Bruce Willis, and as part of trying to, you know, be around
It's,
him and help
it's
him.
every time I hear something like that, because I have 10 mothers to my children. And once I leave, I don't want to see them again. I don't know what that's about, but anyway.
Oh, you're hilarious. Well, yeah, you'd have a lot of houses to hit on Christmas if you were friends with all of them still.
Oh yeah, I mean it's insane. I
Well, this
think we're ready for another commercial, aren't we?
yes, but let me just ask you, have you seen that new movie of hers yet? It's called The Sun.
No, I haven't.
It looks like a great show,
But it's in
but
the movie houses, right?
no, it's on Prime Video is
Oh,
where
good.
I saw it, and
I
a
have that
couple of
home.
other
I'm
places.
really not going into big crowds because I've been in intense rehearsals, which we'll talk about when we come back from the break. And
Okay.
I'm starting on January 23rd at a club called Scratch in New Rochelle.
Oh, that's right.
And I want everybody just go to scratchnr.com and you can get a reservation and get it soon because by the time you hear the show, will be a week out. But
Oh,
that's on the 23rd of January. And then, like I said about Valentine's Day, you don't want to miss that. But we'll be right back, and we'll conclude of some of the things that's going on in our new year already. And this is the first time I really talked to Jeannie.
oh, wow.
She's got a new romance going on, so we got to hear about all this.
Taking up some time. That's right. All right, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Okay, so we're at
30.
50 already.
Yeah. So we can just do 10 more
10
minutes.
more minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go back.
Okay, we're back. And let's hear of some of the things you've been going on, my dear, since
Well,
New Year's Eve.
Gianni, my life has changed quite drastically. I've lived alone for 3 years. I still live alone, but I've been seeing someone, and it's really fun. It's been a lot of fun. I am not used to. I was thinking, I don't know what I did with all my time before, because now most days I spend with him, and it's been fantastic. It's fun to have somebody to just enjoy stuff with. Um,
Oh yeah, I mean, I met Julia again. We met 31 years ago. We started dating, and I realized I would destroy her life at that time. She's such a nice lady. And then
I love her.
we bumped into each other during COVID 3 years ago, and we've been living it up ever since. Can you imagine? 27 years later, you meet the same person again. So I felt it has to be an omen.
Well, you want to hear something funny is this guy I'm seeing, he used to have coffee with my dad every morning.
Are you kidding?
No, and my brother and him were good friends, and my mom knows him. I'm like, how do I not
That
know
makes
this
it so
person?
much nicer too when you have some background.
That's right. He's been vetted. He came over at Christmas, and my daughter came and said, hey, because he was coming from somewhere else, and she said, hey, he's here. So I went out expecting him to be, standing at the door or something. He's in the kitchen talking to my mom and my son-in-law and the kids, and I was like, you fit right in here. So it's been really fun. And I didn't have
I'm
to do
happy for
everyone.
you.
Me too. We are having a lot of fun.
And
Did
also, you told me you got a call from your grandson and you're
my
going to be a new grandmother again.
Absolutely. I'm so excited. I can't, my son, there's going to be 12, almost 13 years in between their two children, which my ex-husband's girlfriend said, he said about 5 times now for the last few months, Rhonda's her name, has woken up and said, I saw Tara and Cody's baby girl last night. And she said, I dream of this baby, and it's a girl, and she's got
Oh,
a lot of
wow.
dark hair, that Italian and that Hawaiian, beautiful babies. And so she said, I know there's a baby coming for them. And so she's right. Now I don't know if it's a boy or girl, but because we're just getting started at it. But isn't that funny? She said she's been saying it for months. I know they're going to have a baby. I keep seeing it in my dream.
That's
So,
fabulous.
yeah, my little
I don't
grand.
want I don't want to hear that about me though anymore.
Oh, no, no, no. Oh, I hope you
I
fix
got
that
enough kids.
problem. You're an overachiever.
Well, I've been blessed also in the new year because I keep mentioning David Burke, who I knew for 100 years, probably one of the most famous chefs, I would have to say in the world.
Oh,
And
wow.
he opens all these restaurants called the Red Horse
Hmm.
in established places, like I
Oh,
would be at Bernie's uh, and
Bernardsville.
no,
Oh,
New Rochelle is Scratch.
oh,
This is
that's
in Bernardsville in New Jersey.
right.
But
Okay.
Bernie's is an old inn and hotel.
Oh,
And he
wow.
opened the restaurant there. And now I'm going to 4 other places. Don't know the dates yet, and they're all places I love. I love the Adelphi up in Saratoga. I used to stay there when I wasn't staying with my son, and it's a great hotel. So he owns that. I mean, he owns properties that I want to be in. So I'm doing 6 of his places.
Oh, wow.
So I got like now I'm, I rekindled with a great friend of mine many years ago who was the entertainment director of Caesar's Palace. And
Oh,
he was the one, now we could say, because we were laughing about it the other day, he was the one that let me know who was not coming to Frank Sinatra's party for his daughter. These boots are made for walking.
the
And
Onassis, you took their
his
spot.
secretary told me that Onassis and
Hadn't
Jackie were not coming. So I made believe I was them and I landed the helicopter there. So we have such great memories. And
Right.
I performed because he also manages Engelbert Humperdinck. He's got big acts. This guy's amazing. And that's what his business is now. So we were in Baku, Azerbaijan, and we flew back together and we rekindled our friendship. And now he's handling me and he's booking me all over the world. And it's so
That's
crazy
wild.
because now I have another whole career back in nightclubs, which is insane. And I called a lady the other day at resorts because my friend down there, Mark Giannato, who's the president of resorts, and it's Maureen. I said, Maureen, you're still there? She said, yeah. And why I said that, and my memory's like a steel trap. In May of 1989, I was the opening act for Don Rickles.
Oh,
But
that's right.
Sinatra, who was teaching me to sing, asked Don Rickles if I could be the opening act so I can get some experience with audiences. And Steve Wynn was like his biggest booker at the time at the Golden Nugget. In fact, Sinatra and Don Rickles were there, and I was became the opening act. And I just got off stage, and the guard comes back. I did a half hour that normally the opening act does, and then the main act comes out, and it was Don Rickles, and it was at resorts. And the guard comes and says, Ivana Trump and Donald Trump want to come and say hello to you. I said, yeah, and Dick Tracy wants to say hello to you too. Get out of here. He said, no, they're really here. And there they were right behind him. And why I
Wow.
think it's so important, what I'm about to say now is insane because they come to me, and as I said, this is May of '89. I've owned State Street already 9 years. So they said, we're opening a new hotel called King's Castle, Trump Castle, in Atlantic City in February. We don't know the date yet, but we want you to be the star, not the opening act. So they gave me my first starring position. That was 35 years ago. I can't
Oh my
believe this.
gosh. Well,
And
I saw that picture of you and Ivana Trump.
oh yeah,
And then
that
that one,
that was the picture from then.
right.
He
And
sent
then,
out this invitation, and we had a star-studded night. And I saved that. Well, you saw the picture of it. It's amazing.
right,
It was a gold embossed invitation he sent out that he signed to
right,
everybody. And it says, Donald J. Trump cordially invites you to join us for film star and singing sensation Johnny Russo. I can't believe that. And now he's the president of the United States again.
again.
And I
That's
just spent
incredible.
5 days with him at Mar-a-Lago at a wedding.
That's
And
right.
he's such a regular guy. He was at the rehearsal dinners. He was at everything. So, I think with your new romance and my new career, again, I'm going back out, 18 states. We'll be keeping you apprised. Go to our websites. Jeannie keeps posting all these events.
Right.
And we haven't had the opportunity for jointly us saying this on the radio, but Happy New Year to all our listeners. God bless you all. Keep your cards and letters coming.
That's
Jeannie, I
exactly
love
right.
you.
I love you, my dear. And
And
hey, Happy New Year
happy
from me.
2025.
That's right.
And I
That's
can't wait to meet your new guy.
well, thank you. Hey, and today I know this is a few days before you guys, you listeners, are going to hear that, but today would be Elvis Presley's 90th birthday.
Right.
Big things going on around. They're celebrating like crazy tonight in Graceland, which I know this could be a few days behind, but I'm a big Elvis fan, always will be. So
I was good friends with him. He opened my nightclub at Tropicana with me.
I know.
He was
I
there
know.
every night.
Yep.
Well, with all those good thoughts, God
That's
bless
right.
you all. Stay safe with all the weathers and fires, and God bless you all. Good
God
night.
bless. Good night, Gianni.
And that was that. But I'll be back.
No regrets, no complaints. Lived a life with no restraints.